Welcome to the Plantiful Goddess Podcast. My name is Jessica Karwat, and I'm a holistic coach for women, certified vegan nutritionist, fitness trainer, yogi, and reiki master. I have coached hundreds of women worldwide, and I made it my mission to help women from all around the world transform their lives and health in ways they didn't think was possible. If you're looking to uplevel your health, learn about the best practical tips on vegan health and fitness, master your menstrual cycle, improve your relationship with food, and so much more, so that you can reconnect with the powerful woman that you're meant to be, then you have come to the right place. My goal in this podcast is for you to help you step up your game, reconnect with yourself as a woman, and elevate your health and life. We are going to have so much fun in this podcast. Are you ready? Let's begin. Hello, my Plantiful Goddesses. I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day. I'm so excited for this episode. I decided to do something else this time. I had a beautiful IG live. If you don't know what IG is, it's Instagram. Okay. I had a beautiful Instagram live with my current client, Alli or Allison, and we had the best time talking about her experience in the Plantiful Goddess program and talking about how she has been transforming and changing and learning so much. And honestly, it's so much more than just her experience. It's really the way she describes all of this. She's done it in such a beautiful and intense way that I really do believe every single woman should listen to this because it's so freaking empowering. And I cannot wait for you to hear this. If you're interested in joining the Plantiful Goddess program, make sure you reach out to me right now. We are starting very, very soon and the doors are closing. So make sure you reach out at this very moment and we can get started so that you can be part of the Plantiful Goddess program. And without further ado, enjoy this episode. Yes, there we are. Hi, Alli. I'm so excited to see you. Thank you so much
for being
live. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. How are you?
I'm awesome as well. You're looking great. Love your hair, as always.
Thank you. Thank you.
Super stylish. I was already talking a little bit about you, about the program and your transformation and why I also wanted to have you on this live here today. It means a lot to me that you're taking, some time off of your beautiful day and you really want to share your experience as well that you have had on this program so far and, working with us and having those breakthrough moments, those transformations. And the calls have been pretty emotional. There has always been a lot coming up, and that's why I thought you would be great to have you on this live. But before we get into all of this, Alli, who are you? If you could introduce yourself to us, where you're from, what you're doing, and also why you decided to reach out to me in the first place and work with me, that would be amazing if you could share that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm Alli. I live in New Jersey in the USA. I've been vegan for about 6 years now. I'm sort of in a process of getting to know myself again because a lot has changed in my life, romantic relationships, work relationships. And I just found myself in a point where it was like things were falling into place except for how I was treating my body. And just for whatever reason, it wasn't making sense. It wasn't clicking for me. And then I found the program being advertised and it just seemed serendipitous. It was like, this is time. This is what will make sense for me. I was really attracted to the idea that it wasn't just about nutrition and fitness, but also understanding your hormones, because I felt like I was just disconnected from my, I guess, femininity or my, my power place. So, so I found myself in this program. I can't imagine now not being in it. It's kind of it's been more than I ever expected, even though what I expected it to be was what I was hoping for, if that makes any sense. So I'm very grateful. I feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Things have been easier to deal with as they arrive in life. And I just feel like I'm just more prepared to deal with what's coming toward me. So I feel very grateful that I'm in this program and that I can, share that experience with others that maybe are having those same thoughts.
Yes, thank you so much, Alli. It means the world to me that you're saying all of these amazing things. And I actually remember the first call that we had, only you and me. You were like, I'm meant to be a goddess. I want to be a goddess. This is for me. Like, this is one of the first things that you said. And I already felt like, okay, there is some type of connection. I really want to have you on the program. And I think you felt very similar as well. And so I also have to say, especially in the beginning of the program, you were a little bit more quiet. You were a little bit more reserved. I think you also like the type of person that you first observe and then you kind of act and share, right? That's the kind of what I've been seeing. So I would love for you to share a little bit what it is that, you know, you have learned so far and how that journey has been. Because of course, a lot of people that consider a program like this, you know, have a lot of fears based on, okay, you know, how's it going to look like online? Am I going to get what I actually look for? Like, what happens if, you know, it teaches me everything that I already know? Because of course you already had a lot of knowledge that you brought with you because you've done a lot of the healing work on yourself already. So if you could just talk a little bit more about the process and your transformation and kind of like the journey that you've been on so far, that would be awesome.
You know what I think, as you were speaking, what really stood out to me was a lesson in forgiveness. I think that, you know, you can have an understanding of something conceptually. You can read a bunch of books, or you can print out a bunch of reminders and you know, post them up all over your walls. But until you really make that actual connection, I'm not sure what it takes for each individual person, but that's what I think is so unique on this program, is that it really hits so many different aspects, right? If you are a tech person, there's so much information, you know, on the portal that you share with us, just video after video after video of really, you know, short snippets of really informative things. So you've got the education. You also have this idea of like the weekly call. I'm actually upset because I missed this one this week. And there's something about that energetically bringing a group together all within, you know, with a similar purpose and intention. Those calls are really uplifting for me. They're also really emotional. So you get this like every week, you know, a shift and a move in something energetically, as well as you sharing your stories, right? Like being a fully realized, authentic person yourself, leading the pack of us who are all saying, wait, I want to be that person too. Like, wait, hold on, I want to be just authentically me. It's really changed my perception. Like you said, I came in with already some information, like as being vegan for 6 years, I've sort of done all of the weird eating and like finding out what really works for me is real food, right? Like that's usually what people come to when they have been through it all. But I still had that very black and white thinking. I didn't know how to apply what I knew to my life without then having, you know, the guilt and the shame that would come up from it. So it really was a matter of being more forgiving for myself. And I learned that I see that modeled through you. I see it, you know, reiterated in all of the information that you share with us. But it's so important to realize every day you have to readdress where you're feeling, like, where are you coming from? Every single day, right? Check in. It's not like a one size, you know, even the meal plans that we have on the program, they're amazing because they're easy recipes to make there, but you don't have to stick so hard and fast to them, because that's really, then it's just a diet for whatever period of time you're on, as opposed to learning the flexibility, being forgiving. You know, if you don't do something exactly as you plan, you know, it's facing the perfectionism, which was really, I think, the biggest part for me. Yeah. And not knowing what it looked like to be a more balanced person and not have these high set goals that you never seem to meet. And then you just give up. And then you just, you know, you're okay with failing or whatever. So I think that's been the biggest thing for me. I wish that people could know that ahead of time. There's all the information you would need if you're talking about the information, the facts. That's all very informative, very helpful. So is the group call. So is you matching us with partners. I mean, I am so incredibly grateful for my partner, Tanya. I don't know where I would be without being able to talk with her, share with her, celebrate her wins with her. It's just such a, I don't know, I was ready for it to be in my life. And if you are too, like if people watching are, do it. Take the chance, because if you put that intention out there, it will be met with everything that you've set up so far. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, super like detailed, and I love that because you have a super amazing way of articulating yourself and describing it in such an amazing way. Like, I don't think I could have said it that way, so thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
for the listeners, the partner that Alli was talking about. So in the program, after a couple of weeks into the program, you're going to be assigned to an accountability partner. So I take my time where when I get to know you already a little bit better, I see, okay, who are some people that I could fit together. And basically from that moment on, you are with that partner, you communicate with that partner, you share things, right? And that's what you were referring to your partner, Tanya. I would love for you to talk a little bit more about what kind of change you have already seen. I think you already talked about it very broadly, but what has there been that you would say like that has been huge for me at this point already? Because you already talked about the perfection, but if you could like point to one thing, which I'm sure many women will be able to connect to, because this is what a lot of women struggle with, right? Everything that we talk about in the calls is just so like, you share something and then someone else is like, oh yeah, me too. And then another's like, yeah, me too, right? So if you were to like pin it to one thing, what would it be so far? I mean, we still have a lot more time, but what would it be so far that you say like, yes, Alli is special. She's amazing.
What I found maybe most surprising was just how much I felt like I was alone in my thoughts, in my emotions, in my pain. And then you open it up to a group of, I guess there's seven other girls in my group.
Total.
Yeah, okay, so 10 total. So many of us have had such similar experiences, or even if it's not the same experience, it's the energy around the experience, the same feeling of frustration, of loneliness, of, despair even. And I guess what I've learned for myself is this like powerful, we're all really, really powerful people, every single one of us. The amount in which we show it is just how much we're believing in the stories that don't really serve us, don't really propel us forward. And so that, I think, noticing, working so far in the program, it being so much more emotional, so much more about that healing, so much more healing. I think that that's been the most notable change, is that the work that comes up, like, we had that group call where we did that, stepping into our feminine power, and we did, like a meditation and a womb exercise, and it was so revealing, not in the way you think it would be, because none of this stuff ever is, right? It's so surprising, and you wouldn't think it has anything to do with like a diet and exercise, nutrition and fitness, because it's so much more than that. But then things fall into place, right? Like as you're working on the emotional healing side of things, you just notice that you're just taking care of your body better, or you're checking in with yourself in the morning and what do I need today? I need to move my body, or how do I want to move my body? So it's strengthening that innate ability to just know yourself and fuel yourself and feed yourself exactly what you need, right? Because everything is sort of already there. It's a matter of clearing away the old belief system. So I forgot actually now your original question, but I hope that kind of explained it. I've noticed that is the healing. Yeah. Stepping into power. Actually, Tanya, my partner, said something to me once. There's two different types of people. There's people that are afraid of success, and there are people that are afraid of failing. And I think I was the afraid of success person. I never realized that about myself. Of course, most people think they're just afraid of failing, but I think I've really needed to step into this idea that I'm worth all these things, the time spent on myself, the time spent healing, and that if I really, truly want to serve others and be there for other people, that I have to do that first for myself. And this program has been really showing me how to do that by putting me in touch with women that are doing that, you showing us, modeling it for us, what it looks like. And yeah, it sort of just flows from there, right? Like I was ready to do that. So now I can take it as it comes.
I love this. Yeah, so much. I'm taking it all in. So much energy is flowing. I get a lot of women that are interested and then they decide to do it on their own because they're like, oh no, I know it. I know what I need. And then they decide to take the step by themselves, which is okay too, but how was it for you? Because have you ever worked with a coach before? Was it your first time? And why do you think it's important to look for someone that guides you? It's not, because a lot of times, we as women, we're so scared to ask for help, but this is not asking for help. It's someone that guides you through this journey, right? So how was that for you? Have you ever worked with a coach before? And why do you think it's important to have someone that guides you through all of this?
It's incredibly important to have someone to guide you. It's not necessary. Everything can be done, a different way. I have never worked with a coach before. I think I told you in our first phone call, I'd never even set a health goal before. I was so disconnected from that aspect of my life and my body, and really honestly just would be ashamed, or would have been ashamed, to set a goal for myself and not meet it, because I had done that so many times before in my mind without, writing it down, without realizing it, without working with a guide or a coach. So just the idea around it was like, I had to face first this idea of failure, which for me, and this I realized very, very quickly as the program started, I just lost my train of thought. I realized very quickly, right when it started, that my perfectionism was just my excuse to quit. And so working with a guide like you in particular, somebody who really shows up as authentically themselves, right? You've lived the path, it's like a true healer, right? It's like you're taking from your experiential knowledge and wisdom and sharing it, and that's why it's so easy to resonate with, because it's real. And even saying something in it, I'm gonna totally butcher it, but there's been a few times where you just explained to us, I wasn't feeling it. I'm feeling low energy. I need to relax, take care of my body. I will check in with you when I can give you 110%, because what's the point in giving any less than that when you're really trying to share and help? So it's natural for us to have those experiences, those ups and those downs and those ebbs and flows. The challenging part is really motivating yourself to work through those times. It doesn't always look like, well, get up and exercise, go run on the treadmill for an hour and kill yourself that way, right? It doesn't actually look like that. A lot more of it is, working with you as a guide, sharing the challenge, and then coming back with questions so that I can ask myself these things. I can work myself through. You're not doing any of the heavy lifting for us, but you're there sort of alongside. And I think that's really powerful, motivational, especially energetically, because it's those times where you wake up and you're just feeling really low. I don't feel like exercising today. I don't feel good in my body. And it's being able to express that to someone instead of spiraling in, in the background of your own mind is really powerful, because it shifts you out of it. You can do it on your own. I mean, everybody knows there's so much information available to you. You can figure out how to eat. You can figure out how to move your body. You can figure out how to do shadow work and healing, mindfulness. But when somebody's been there, like you specifically, walking us through your journey, it saves time, it saves energy, and it also reminds you when you're on that process, instead of feeling powerless when things don't work out and then feeling really good and then feeling really bad, you just have a leveled state of, I'm capable of doing this. Today was an easier day. Today was a harder day. Whatever comes up, Yeah. So I think it's really important for that purpose to have a guide, right? They don't do the lifting for you, but they walk alongside you, pat you on the back, hold your hand when you need it, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think also what you shared, like, yes, there is a lot of information out there, but also we're living in an age where it's information overload. So many people are so overwhelmed with, like, what do I do first? What kind of nutrition should I be following? What kind of self-healing work, right? And that's also why people tend to, and with a hired coach, go to a mentor or anything like that, where, someone helps you structure all of it and structure, like, okay, I'm in this and I have, 10 ladies that I coach, and I see what kind of help everyone needs or what kind of support everyone needs. And that's how I'm able to, like, guide you through the right thing, right? Because oftentimes, I remember when I went on this journey myself, for too much time, I was on my own. It took me years to go through all of this. And when I hired my coaches, my mentors, all of a sudden the journey was so much shorter and so much clearer and so much quicker as well, and so much more powerful, because I had someone by my side that whenever I did have a low moment, right, kind of what you explained as well, whenever something is confusing to you, you have someone by your side that helps you guide through it. And I think that's the powerful part of it. Like, also what you said, energetically, like, energy is so important, that you just have someone there that holds, you know, space for you. Because oftentimes we feel so alone. We feel, especially as women, we feel like we have all of these problems by ourselves and no one can relate. And it's like you talk to your friends, but no one's really there 100% on that level that you are. And that's the powerful part when you put people together that have the same kind of goals. That's why there's also energetically like community healing happening, right? It's this entire like energy, like it's hard to explain because when you're in the cold,
it really is.
right? It's like when you start crying and then Tanya starts crying and then I get emotional. It's like this beautiful part about this where we let go all of the things of the shame and the guilt that, you know, we as women have been holding on to for so long. Why do you think women have a hard time putting themselves first and prioritizing themselves?
That's a huge question.
I know.
You know what comes to mind actually is this idea that whether it's from patriarchal values or just power structures, the way that they've been, something about that stepping into your feminine power, right? Like even the idea of working with a guide, it's not an instructor, right? It's a guide to guide your journey, to guide your experience. And I think that's what this program does in particular, is empower the individual. I don't know why women don't do that for themselves, right? I'm sure there's a myriad of reasons that are just so hard to pinpoint and know what or how it was affected, because really truly I think we are a combination of just our past behaviors, experiences, beliefs, things that we've absorbed, all of that stuff. So we're really just like kind of robots living through the same thing we've been doing over and over and over again in a certain aspect. Even the idea of you as a coach is not coming from a position of power down to your students. You're gathering a group of powerful people, powerful women in this instance, and showing them how to step into their own power, how to guide themselves, how to learn how to do it for themselves. And that I think is more important for changing the status quo. You know what I mean? Instead of it being from a top-down teacher to student kind of concept, it's this idea that we're all learning together. We're all on an even playing field. No one is above or stronger than or weaker than anyone else. Everyone is experiencing something. So holding space, like you said, you hold space for us. We all hold space for the other people in the group as well. And whether we realize we're doing that or not, just by showing up, by being part of the program, and that's the same thing that anyone else would experience that signs up for something like this or you know, does this particular program. Stepping into your own power puts things into perspective, right? Like I think we've talked about, I really feel called to act in service, you know, like even my job as a hairstylist, I feel like I serve other people. I enjoy that aspect of life. But I really was missing the point there. I didn't know how to serve others without, like, I thought selfish was really a bad thing. You know, being self-centered, all of that stuff was like really shameful, and I really didn't want to do that. This program, even just learning in this way, where we're learning in a group atmosphere, this program really helped me see that I actually am not serving anyone if I'm not serving from a place of power and centeredness. Anything else I'm offering someone is really just a distorted energy that doesn't serve in any way, neither them nor me. So really about empowering the self. And I think that's what women don't tend to do as mothers, as nurturers, as caretakers, as people that are holding down the fort, doing those types of things, as well as working other types of jobs where other parts of their being are being, you know, exercised at all moments. There's so many different facets. But I feel the same way about men, you know, just women in particular. I think there's this idea of being self-caring is like a really bad thing to do, as opposed to realizing that's how you empower, that's how you serve and project out whatever you want to in the rest of the world. You do it first by, you know, taking care of numero uno.
Yes. Yeah, I love it. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. And I love that you said that, because it becomes a ripple effect, right? We're in this group together, and you heal yourself, and it becomes a ripple effect where you then go to someone else, and a person's going to look at you like, Alli, what did you do? Like, I want to know. And then you help them. And it's this constant thing. So anyone that's doing something in terms of acts of service, like you go into experience that even, you know, you working as a hairstylist or hairdresser, like you're there with the people, you talk to them, you'll sometimes probably like a therapist as well without you even realizing, and they're going to take this with them as well, and then talk about this with their children or their husband or their girlfriends, right? So we always have to remember, everything that you do for yourself, you're going to be doing something good to other people around you as well. And I think that's one of the biggest things where I've seen so many women struggle with putting themselves first, because they think it's selfish. They think, oh, if I'm going to do this program, it's not good because I have children, I have to take care of them, I have to take care of my husband. But they don't realize that if they do something good for themselves, they're going to raise their energies, their vibrations, they're going to feel better. And then they can show up for their children and their husbands and their families even more than they used to, right? And that's something that I feel so often just gets forgotten, but also just the way we grew up in society, just been this way, right? As women doing those things that need to be done. And yes, we're changing it, but it's still somehow in us. And so many women that I speak to, it's still there. So I think it's so important to really change this, because then we can really make this ripple effect even bigger and really, you know, inspire and heal the whole world, I would say.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, that's so beautiful. You're exactly right, right? Like that is the whole point. When you think about it from, you know, from a small perspective outward, it's so big. It seems way too impossible. Same thing with veganism, right? It's like, oh, well, what difference am I going to make? But actually, you make a world of difference. You make a difference in the world you're in. And it's huge, really, because I have not seen as much of an effect until I've been more centered, until I've learned to balance some of those experiences myself and give only when I have it. You know what I mean? If I'm not there, it actually makes more sense for me to not offer, you know, to not even put, you know, that in, because it really will heal the world when you're doing it one at a time, empowering yourself, showing others the way, right? You're really not even telling, you're just showing by being it. So yeah, it's beautiful.
Yes, I love that so much. So also I'm curious, Alli, I feel like, you know, your transformation has already, like, there's been so many shifts happening for you already so early into the journey. What are some of the things that are coming up for you that you want to focus on even more right now, as a last question?
Well, connecting in with my body. Like really, truly, I had asked you, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now, some advice on how do you know when you're just being lazy or when you're really needing rest, when your body's really needing rest? Because I have those two conversations happening at the same time, right? And this is one of those points where it's really helpful to have a guide, because when I asked that question to you, you didn't just say, well, it's best to work out in the morning, you know, like you asked me to ask myself questions. And as I've been doing that, I realized there's more or less that my body has to say. So one of the questions, I have them written down. One of the questions, what would fully honoring my body look like today? Right? Even asking that question, the first couple of times, it's awkward for me because I've never talked to my body that way. Never been like, what do you need? How can I be of service? But when I do, now that I've been asking myself that question when I'm waking up in the morning, I'm learning to trust the answer. And so that's what I really want to focus more on, is honing my instinctual, intuitive voice and really learning to listen to it. Tanya and I started talking about, you know, having cravings for certain foods, then allowing yourself to have them. And then there's moments where when you take away that idea of like, well, I can't do this or I can't do that, you actually hear your body ask for it or not want it. And she was saying that she was eating this, you know, this particular food that she wanted, and then realized like this, it's not what I want to eat, right? But if you don't listen and empower your intuitive sense, where you tell yourself, I'm going to listen to it, and you're going to really connect with your body, you won't hear those messages. It's not that your body's not saying them. It's that you're not listening. You won't hear them. They're confusing. So really, I think honing that relationship with my body specifically so that I can really tune that voice and that understanding and that knowing of what's going on. Because then that takes you through the rest, right? Literally, there is no time where the program ends. The program just began. And it sort of is.
Yes. I
Um,
love that you said that because that's so true. Oftentimes, we think, oh, it's a 4 month program and then I'm going to be done and I'm going to be a new person. Well, yes, but the work continues. Like just
yeah,
how I'm working, and I always say that to you girls, right? Like I'm still working on myself. I'm still doing the work that I teach you as well myself, plus doing other things because there is never an end to it. And that's the beautiful part about it. Like oftentimes we try to see life as an end goal, and when we reach this end goal, we're gonna be happy. It's not about that. Like it's about enjoying the journey because you will never just reach the end goal and be done with it. Like otherwise you will be chasing your entire life until you're like 90 years old and you're like, I've been chasing and chasing and
yeah,
what did I actually get, right?
right.
So that's the entire I think concept around, like also whenever I talk to you or the others, like yes, it's a 4 month program, but this is the tools that you're going to be learning, and yes, you will be feeling different, but then from there on you can take this with you and continue and see what has worked for you and what hasn't, right? I've loved this so much, Ellie. I could talk. Oh, just Tanya just commented. Yes, Tanya, thank you so much as well for being here. Okay, so this was my last question, but I'm gonna give you one last one. If you have any last words to share, anything that you feel like would be important. Yes, this is so beautiful and powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you as well, girl. Love to see you here. So, any last words, Ali, maybe we didn't talk about, but you would still like to share?
I think it's so hard. That's a tough one. I did not prepare for that. What do I want to share? That it's possible, that anything is possible. No matter, like, I have been on quite a journey. I've been coming from a very, very dark place where there was barely anything shining, right? Like barely anything shining. And so many of us girls in this group particular, I'm sure in each session that you have come from a similar place. If if you were really in that space and that was going to be your forever, maybe there'd be no hope. But it's not the case. It's not forever. There is hope. There always is. And so I think that motivation, that would be the motivation I would want other people to know. It's like, if you're not ready yet, you're not ready yet. And you don't have to beat your head against a wall. But when you're ready, it's possible. And it's really kind of a flow. It's not that it's easy, it's just that it shows up and the opportunities present themselves. You start to see your life as being, everything that's happening is for my highest good. Like it is, whether or not I like it or I think it's good, it truly is for my highest good. And when you get into that wavelength, just know that it's available for you whenever you're ready. Because I don't think I realized then that it was ready when I was in the darkest phase. And it's hard to, but just to know, each one of us in this group has been there. And yet we've brought ourselves out of it to a point where now we seek to heal. And that's incredibly powerful. So that's available to anyone when they're ready.
Yes, last words. Thank you so much, Ellie. I really,
Thank you.
with all of my heart, really appreciate this so much. I'm so grateful.
Feel the same way.
So grateful that you're in this program, and I can't wait to see what else is going to come up for you. What else you're going to transform, because it's already been, so quick but so beautiful. So I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much. Be well, Jess. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Have a beautiful day. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you also have a beautiful day. If you're not following me yet on Instagram, make sure you go ahead and follow me on there. I would really appreciate if you would, or if you could, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. It would really help this podcast grow and, help spread the message about women's health and empowerment and just how important it all is. So I can't wait to connect with you very soon again. And until next time, take care.